Hello again. This is the Watering Man. We're still in John chapter 4, verse 35. I'm taking care. God's giving me things I need to take care of before we proceed on into that. Breaking that down, documento, laying out there, examining it. Because God's taking like every thought and blowing it up. This humongous ball, and that's one little thought. Remember, telling you it's like Earth Alpha Centauri contains like 35,000. Its volume is like 35,300 million trillion, like grains of sand or little spots. And it's starting out. It's all dark. It's got one little seed of Christ, seed of faith, in there, but you don't know that truth. The truth that you know shall set you free. If you don't never germinate that truth, it's not really doing anything for you. You're keeping it in the inferior place, position, on the bottom of the fraction, like buried under your earthly thinking. It's not on. It's elliptically surrounded and buried, and you just shoved it farther down in there. You're denying God. And you do that both with good works and bad works. As you're in this carnal yuck, thinking like an outhouse. And in the bottom of that outhouse is a big old nasty cesspool of your feces. And as you're agreeing with your own right-mindedness, I think this, your self-righteousness, and that's both good and evil. It's like feeding from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, or drinking Jacob's well water. It's not the living water. It's not from the fruit from the tree of life. It's not the sincere milk or the meat of the word. None of this food from God. You can't start out eating the real strong stuff. You got to start out with the weakest breast milk and work your way up. But it's only by God. You can't do it out of your works and your power. It's just agreeing with God. He's giving you opportunity in these storms of your life. Okay? All this other stuff is impedance, resistance. It's blocking your way back to the tree of life. Back into that Garden of Eden. Where's it located at? Right here. You just don't know it. You got too much poopy in the way. Let God shoot that out as you germinate and then agree. 1 to 2 to 4 to 8. It's like giving up those plasma guns at the 8th skin fighters got Christ inside you, that seed of Christ. That's extremely dense. But you got it buried. Germinate it to where it becomes 1, 2 to the first power. Because you got 2 in your earthly thinking. Your way over here to the left, and the right way, God's way. Your will be done, or God's will be done. They can't both be right. Right here's God's will, taking you up to the superior way of thinking. God's right-mindedness, God's love, God's light. Freedom from the red, blue, and green light. Bring it back to the fullness of white light. That's all the colors. The existence of all color in that white light. And then you got this red, blue, and yellow. Your own understanding, your red Adamic thinking, and trying to impress yourself and other humanistic thinking. Going with the flow of the spiritness, or flow of the humanistic thinking, that 666 nature. In your mind first, and then out into your works, your efforts, your hand. Don't go that way, because that's taking you down. You're not just in that carnal mind, then it's going more calloused, and you're getting down in that cesspool, in that outhouse of your carnal mind. Oh no! Doing all kinds of really nasty stuff, and you're calling it good. I'm making a stand in this, and I just don't realize. Whether you're in a pub, woe is me, the world's got a handbasket, and you're eating poop made into like donut holes or into hot dogs, and it's like Joppa and Jonah. He's going his own way instead of going and doing what God told him to do. Oh man, that looks bad. Them dudes there, man. They're stiff-necked, hard-nosed, grouchy bears, guarded towers. I was talking about dealing with that stuff in your mind. I don't think I'll just take a sea cruise over here, man, like a fish on the way, and oh man, I can just have a great time and stop this port at Joppa and have all kinds of stuff be served on platters by these great big old guys. The Sevenites. Jebusite, the cheap one. These are all of them. Don't know. You don't even know that stuff they're serving you is poop. Here, you got your choice. Drop a hamburger, a drop a milkshake, a drop a hot dog, or you can have, and for dessert, you can have these delicious Joppa donut holes. And it's all poop, diarrhea, And as you're over there feasting on it, you feast on that like a Hittite. The fear, or violence, or a Girgashite, you're lying attitude. I just tell a little lie, man, I'll get ahead. It's a facade, an illusion. If I'm just a little deceitful here, I can get stuff I provide for my family, and I'm doing the right way. Yeah. I thought that. Outside you're looking beautiful on the outside, man, here. You got 666 all over you, all in, But you're not dealing with that stuff inside, just like the Pharisees. You're bitter enemies of Jesus Christ and his cause. You're not going Yahweh of salvation. You're saying to me, myself, and I, our way I think is absolutely right, because I've always done it that way, and it worked out just fine. I eat them things, I've always had food to eat. You're eating poop. Sometimes it works out good, eating something sugar-coated for a little bit, but it's transitory, temporary and unsatisfactory. Therefore, using it doesn't last. It's not giving you a permanent increase, permanent satisfaction like the green lighting God. It's red lighting God. It just seems good. It's an imposter of light. Well, it gives me bigger cars, and man, I live this mansion here. Yeah, but it's got you all messed up inside. That stuff ain't worth a crap. Yeah, and I go to the biggest church building. It's got all this, got a great big old obelisk, steeple on the top. I spoke a mouthful there, but I'm not going to go into it. Man, I'm the top dog. Facade. Ego. It's trying to edge God out. I am number one, and you guys are bull crap. And the whole time you go, woo, down the toilet bowl, down into, like in that outhouse has like a toilet bowl, or a spiraling staircase, take you down into that cesspool deeper, and you're making a stand on that, like on the steps, so your step going down. Man, it's getting deeper in here. I don't know what's going on. I keep doing this good stuff. Step to the next one down. I'm climbing these stairs, but you're climbing in the wrong direction. You're descending. You're like going up this Jordan River. That's death. Speaking of death, the carnality. It's a descender. What's those spiraling staircases doing? Going down in your carnal mind, the cesspool. Oh, gurgle. Well, if I just eat it faster, eat my own stuff, work harder, and let's eat more of this stuff, more of what I couldn't even get around that stuff in the natural, man. My senses, especially my smelling in the morning, oh my Lord, every little thing is Nothing. It's gagging me and stuff. Well, natural. And then, you have all kinds of problems. Sometimes I feel like I gotta look out of two different eyes. Two different... Because we can't really see like a single-eyedness of a dove in the natural. This eye on that one, this eye on this task. But in the spirit, we're keeping one eye focused on God. That's what we're to do. Pray continually without ceasing. Two-way communication with God, tightly locked to God. And the other eye, do whatever we have to do. Not deceit and lies stuff, but just going through life. It's like in the nucleus of an atom. There's protons focusing on God, and there's neutrons, and it's held together by that strong nuclear force. And it's the most powerful force in the natural, right? Of the four forces: strong, weak nuclear force, the electromagnetism, and gravity. Now, in this strong nuclear force, it's really get all the way down in there. It's like a microscopic God's gravity, His love, holding that nucleus together. Those protons focused on God, and the neutrons doing what you got to do through your life just to get through. And those working together makes that nucleus like a little ball, if you will, in the shape of a ball at the center of that atom. It goes down deeper than that, down to the quarks and on down. God takes one little thought process, spans it up, right? Earth to Alpha Centauri, And inside that, there's like all kinds of spots. He's showing you most of that, just like in the natural, most of that atom, or that ball, is like empty space. It's dark, it's black, poopy thinking. That firmament, all that stuff in your mind, 93 billion light years in the natural, showing you about this in your universe or mine, is mostly dark, cold, growing cold, hateful, hostile. It's going out like this and being disguised, making a pretense of drawing you closer, dark matter, and then that dark energy pushing it out faster, growing colder to God's way, God's love, and it's doing it all the way down into the atom, and then down even lower, all the way down to like a plunk leaf, 1e to the negative 35, like thought process. You take that thing, because God's blowing it up there, and He's showing you most of that in there is dark black stuff. Agree with me, and I'll germinate to one. I'll increase to one. Agree again, emphatically on hot pursuit. And it was the 2, then the 4, them little spots, the tiny increases. Yeah, but that's not fast enough for me. Stay with it. Habitually practice, live, exist in the land of Goshen, in that little light. God is light. God is love. In that love, like that strong nuclear force. Holding all that down together in the atom, in the nucleus of an atom, where most of the weight, most of the density, most of the mass of that atom is in that nucleus. God's holding it together. Not you. Not the me, myself, and I. That's all this black emptiness in that atom. And it's out into your whole mind, your universe of a thinking process, your orderly arrangement in your mind. It's outside universe, not just shown as a picture. What's going on in here? Not your brain, in your mind. Most of that is 666, humanistic nature, beast nature. In your 3 ages, God's wanting to take it out, little by little, and let it become radioactive, like the weak nuclear force take over and start causing all kinds of it's like a criticality or a fusion. God's to work in both. I know criticality is splitting the atom, kind of like that. Hebrews 4:12. The word of God is the sharper than any two-edged sword, double-edged sword, right? Splitting it. All that soulish, that poop, and the seeds planted, splitting it. As you live, exist in your three ages. These things all the way from the least to the greatest. That weak nuclear force is in control. God's in control of that radioactivity, making it like a criticality, splitting up, chain reaction. That's from 1 to 48 in all kinds of areas of your thinking. If you're living, existing, boom, it's like a bomb going off. And when God's putting it together, it's splitting it, it's like burning up. Burning down your mind. Oh, burn it out. Yeah, burn out that carnal-mindedness. Ooh, baby, it's stinky poop down in your cesspool of your carnal mind. Get out of that outhouse. Oh, yuck. And come back into the mind of, put on the mind of Christ, baby. So you come out of that baby state of thinking. Remember the breakfast unborn child. And 0 to a toddler. Newborn to a toddler. A simple-minded, non-speaking, immature Christian, follower, child of God. You're still a child of God. But you're not even able to speak the love. You're not able to do any of that, hardly at all. Just goo goo, make messes, poo poo, potty poo poo, and all this stuff. Just have to be taken care of by the parents, Father God. In the spirit, there's neither male or female. God is both. Daddy loves you. Father God loves you beyond the mere description of words. I agree with him. Come out this way, but you're going down the crapper hole, in your outhouse, and go with God. Repent, change the way you think, metanoia, about face. And let God exist out of that stranger realm, down in the crapper, in the cesspool, level, up out of that, to the friend realm, to the bride realm. You're cleaned up, you got to wear the wedding garments of God. The righteousness of God, the right thinking of God. And that's in each area. And God at the whole time. Just like in Adam. All that empty space. That carnality is being transformed by the ace gunfighter. By whatever bullets you're putting in his plasma gun. By agreeing with him. 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16. Because the pressures are increasing, but you're protected. Like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, putting that fiery furnace heated up 5 times as hot. Remember? 5 can be grace, life, a fullness of life in God, or it can be death. Going down into the cesspool of your carnal mind, or you can go up to God's righteousness, his superior way. Come from out of ice 2 towards it into, and you're going the pro way, the pros. P-R-O-S. That comes from P-R-O. They pronounce it pra, but it's like you're a pro, man. You're going the superior way. If God be lifted up in your mind, he'll draw all that humanistic thinking, all that humanity, all men unto himself. Back into oneness with him. Using his strong, weak nuclear forces, electromagnetism, and the gravity, and all the way down in that strong force is really God's love, God's gravity, way down in there. And in that black hole where nobody can see it, can really look in past that event horizon, that accretion dish, I think is what they call it, where it looks like some, stuff going to it, and it just looks like it's beyond time and all kinds of crazy stuff. And all the way down in the time they say it's just chaos. No. Really? It's chaos to your carnal mind because it's getting out of control. It's no longer the king of your heart, of your mind, of those thought processes. It's turning around. God's the rightful king. God's the superior one. God is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. God is the rightful king, not this squatter. You gotta agree with God. So drive this, possess the land, possess your mind. That firmament, that empty space, desolate, ooh, yuck, darn cold. Huh? Let it come back into unity with God. You live in that. Exist, be in the thermostat that's regulating, that's controlling the temperature of your mind, of your thinking. Don't get out there that cold stuff. Yeah, yuck, man, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. God's a monster. He'll throw you in hell, but he loves you. So he's got this way. Double-minded. Recognize it. Make all that humanistic thinking going all over the place, unstable. Woo. Don't know which end's up, no gravity at all. You just flip it on, flip up, subside and away. Man, I don't know which way I'm going, but I'm going somewhere, man. Be like Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, right? They get all fearful and all this stuff. We're trying to be violent, any of this stuff. Hittite, Gervasite, we'll lie at it. Do, poo-poo. We're doing it in Jesus' name. It's just poo-poo. Feces saying, because really deep inside, see, you're polished outside, kept inside, you don't care. Truly, as long as it's taken care of the me, myself, and I. It's not true worship of God. Or true worshipers worship God in spirit and in truth. About face, forward march. I'm coming on up. To the exceeding great reward. 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16. And then that, like that weak nuclear force is making, and it's splitting atoms and then fusing the right-mindedness of God into heavier and heavier and heavier. You're growing spiritually. God's way beyond any physical, natural. He's not limited by physical. He's just natural means, physics and stuff. He's showing you through some of this stuff. Be reasonable. See it my way, my child. Here's a little indication if you can see, hear, taste, touch, or smell. But you're only going to be able to see, hear, taste, touch, or smell when I give you the ability. Now, let's get on into our verse. Okay, and this is really going with this where we're at, John, where we're studying. John chapter 4, verse 35, okay? Yeah, I can read that in about 2 seconds. Yeah, but you're not getting nothing but poop. Don't know. Get in there and dive in. Go underneath that water as far as you can. Agree with God emphatically. And then you'll start breathing, existing the water. But this water, it's not like natural water. You choke that trying to breathe natural water. This water, the fullness of life in God, this living water. You breathe it. You exist in your 3 days. Swimming in there. The more that you know that there is to know. Because in each thought process, remember that's like 35,300 million trillion little spots God's and that's affecting other areas. And then whatever, as you're living in there, it's affecting stuff in other people that you may not even be aware of. You won't be aware of all the stuff you're doing. It will offend some, but it may bring them back. May help them eventually. All right. And it's still the night. I hear the voice of God. There's no one around but my heart's feeling heavy. I don't know what's going on. See that? Still the night. It's in that time of ignorance of God's love. And Jacob, the trickster, heel grabber, in your mind. God's That weak force is working. It's radioactive. We can come up with all kinds of stuff. Okay, just give you a little taste. Oh, it's awesome. Now, got a few minutes here before. Let's get down to this. We're going to start doing this, okay? Now, in Genesis chapter 3, verse 24. Okay? Remember this Garden of Eden is back in God. It's pleasant. Oh my goodness. Sure exceeding great reward. Not a geographical location. We're talking in here. Don't really even care about no geographical stuff. That's just an evil and adulterous generation seeks for a sign, and all be given except the sign of Jonah the prophet. Just do what God said. To be short with it. Now, there's cherubims in this verse. I'll go back over this. That's your own imagination. Imaginary figures. It's the phantoms of your mind. Hivite, Hittite, Girgashite, Pezerite. There's a whole bunch of them. There's 7 of them. Right? Ooh, man. Let's take a look at this. I'm not going to break this down completely, but I've got some key words in it. Okay, now I'm going to have to do more recordings on this, so this will have to be part 1 of this, okay? Now, let's read it out of King James Version first, just now. So he drove out the man and placed him at the east side of the garden, of Eden, cherubims, and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. Oh my goodness. I hope you can hear this. To see, hear, taste, touch, drive out that log in your eye. Let Christ come back in your mind, appear as you overcome. As you green light, and God's giving the increase. He's bringing you on up. Don't quit going down into the cesspool of your outhouse of the carnal mind. Oh, and that's nasty down in there. All your senses, man, you're just full of it. Good, bad, and evil. It's all ugly. The good, bad, and the ugly. All right? Ooh, let God shoot that stuff out. I agree with him. He'll bring out. He's your Savior, your Redeemer, your Deliverer. All that cesspool. Okay? Now, let's go to the interlinear. I've got all the notes here. I just got a couple pages on this. I just did a little bit on it. Well, I'm going to show you a little bit, okay? Now, so he drove out the man and placed at the east side of the Garden of Eden cherubims, okay? This word that they translate as "and he placed" comes from 7931, S-A-K-A-N, this word.
Strong's H7931, Shachan.
Shachan.
And second entry, Shachan.
Okay, that's a verb. And the etymology, it comes from 7901 through the idea of lodging. This causing you, like you placed it, it's causing you to lodge. Have your habitation in this time, in this desolate. Alright, now the 7931, the Shaheen, in the Strong's being to reside or permanently stay. You have to permanently stay down in that cesspool or in that outhouse till God, ecclesia, calls you out. I translate that is church, not a building. It's inside you, those thought processes. Now, this 7901, I'm not going to have to pronounce this, it's going to slow me down too much right here. It's S-A-K-A-B. Okay, and it's a primary verb. It means to lie down. It means to rest in that cesspool. Be sexually connected. You have like sexual interactions with that old carnal stinking thinking. Become very intimate with that sucker, right? You're decreasing. Or any other purpose. You're just eating it up. Now it says you're caused to lie down in the state of mind of rest, sexual connection, or to decrease, or any other purpose other than greenlighting God. Turning from that stuff and greenlighting God, and come back in your 3 days, 3 ages, in your earthly experience, and come back to life in God, to resurrect. These phantoms of the mind are an alternative to God's righteousness. These cherubims, these imaginary figures or phantoms of the mind, prevent you from returning to the right-mindedness of God, to Ian and explaining the right-mindedness of God. Okay? Don't eat that carnal, that cesspool. Stay down in your carnal thinking. Ooh, making all kinds of yuck stuff and calling that good. That's red lighting God. Hit like, subscribe, and comment, share these things. I'm going to continue there a little bit, okay? Have a great day.